The Galactic Combat Academy's training hall buzzed with nervous energy as cadets from across the known systems gathered for their first combat assessment. James watched from the observation deck, his human eyes tracking the movements of various alien species below. Crystalline Zephyrians floated gracefully, their translucent bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Hulking Corvan warriors flexed their forearms, each limb capable of crushing titanium. The serpentine Naga coiled and uncoiled with fluid precision. And then there was Naz. The human girl stood barely 5 feet tall, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. While other cadets displayed their natural weapons, claws, fangs, armored carapaces, she appeared utterly unremarkable. James noticed the dismissive glances from the other species, the way conversations died when she walked past, only to resume in hushed, mocking tones. "Another Deathworlder," hissed a Naga cadet to his companion. "They always think they're special, because they survived their brutal homeworld. Wait until they face real combat training." Instructor Vextal, a towering Corvan with battle scars crisscrossing his chitinous exoskeleton, called for attention. His forearms gestured broadly as he addressed the assembly. "Welcome to advanced combat training. Today you will demonstrate your species' natural fighting capabilities. Each of you will face me in single combat for exactly 60 seconds. Your goal is not to defeat me. That would be impossible, but to show technique, adaptability, and survival instincts." The Zephyrian went first, its crystalline form shifting and refracting as it attempted to confuse the instructor. Vextal's experienced eyes tracked the real body through the illusions, and within 30 seconds the alien cadet was pinned to the mat. Next came a Corvan youth, all forearms moving in complex patterns. The instructor nodded approvingly as they exchanged powerful blows, but superior experience won out. The young Corvan lasted 45 seconds. The Naga cadet slithered forward with fluid grace, attempting to use speed and flexibility to overcome raw power. Vextal's multiple limbs proved too much, and the serpentine alien was caught in an unbreakable hold after 50 seconds. Species after species faced the instructor. Some lasted mere moments, others managed to impress with their unique abilities, but none came close to truly challenging Vextal. Finally, only Naz remained. The other cadets whispered among themselves as she stepped onto the mat. Her appearance seemed almost comical next to the massive Corvan instructor, a small human girl facing a warrior who had seen countless battles across the galaxy. "This is the Deathworlder," Vextal rumbled, his voice carrying a note of dismissive amusement. "Child, your species is known for their tenacity, but you lack the natural weapons of true warriors. Perhaps you should reconsider your career path." Naz said nothing. She simply took a basic fighting stance, her feet shoulder-width apart, hands raised in a loose guard. James leaned forward in the observation deck, something about her calm demeanor catching his attention. "Begin," Vextal announced, barely bothering to raise his guard. What happened next would be talked about in the academy for generations. Naz moved like liquid lightning. Instead of backing away from the massive instructor, she stepped inside his reach, her small stature suddenly becoming an advantage. As Vextal's upper arm swept down to grapple her, she ducked and pivoted, her elbow driving into a nerve cluster just below his primary heart. The Corvan instructor's confident expression faltered as his left side went partially numb. He spun, trying to catch her with his lower arms, but Naz was already gone, moving with the fluid grace of water finding the path of least resistance. She reappeared at his side, her palm striking upward into his secondary respiratory tract. Vextal staggered, gasping as his breathing rhythm was disrupted. For the first time in years, genuine alarm flickered in his compound eyes. "Impossible," breathed a watching cadet. "How does she know our anatomy?" But Naz wasn't finished. As Vextal attempted to recover, she jumped, using his own momentary imbalance against him. Her foot connected with a pressure point on his neck, and the massive instructor's world went dark for a crucial half-second. When his vision cleared, he was on his back, Naz's small hand pressed against his throat with precisely the right pressure, to cut off blood flow to his brain without crushing his windpipe. Her other hand hovered over his primary eye cluster, positioned to blind him instantly if needed. The training hall fell into absolute silence. 7 seconds, announced the automated timer. Naz released her hold and stepped back, offering her hand to help the instructor up. Vextal stared at her in shock before accepting the gesture, his massive frame dwarfing her as he regained his feet. "How?" he whispered, his voice carrying none of its earlier arrogance. "Humans don't have natural weapons," Naz said quietly, her voice carrying to every corner of the silent hall. "We don't have claws or fangs or armored skin. What we have is something else. We learn. We study. We adapt." She gestured to the assembled cadets. "Every species here has advantages over us in direct combat. So we learned about all of you. Your anatomy, your weak points, your behavioral patterns. While you trained to use the weapons you were born with, we trained to overcome them." James felt a surge of pride watching from above. This was what made humanity dangerous in the galaxy. Not their resilience or their aggression, but their absolute refusal to accept limitations. Instructor Vextal straightened, his posture shifting from dismissive to respectful. "Class, observe carefully. What you have witnessed is why humans are called Deathworlders. Not because their planet tried to kill them, but because they learned to kill everything their planet threw at them. They turned disadvantage into strength." He looked directly at Naz. "Cadet, you will assist me in instructing this class. These cadets need to learn what real adaptability looks like." As the other cadets processed what they had witnessed, James smiled. They had dismissed the small human girl as weak, ordinary, unremarkable. They had learned the most important lesson about humanity. Appearance meant nothing, underestimation meant everything, and a determined human was the most dangerous opponent in the galaxy. The Deathworlder girl had spoken and the universe had listened.